What is going on YouTube? It's your boy ColeRocket21 back again with week one of the NPDL Draft League Season 20. Uh, Crazy. This is my personal league that I run. Been around for 20 seasons. It's been a minute since I played draft, since I don't know whenever it was the last time I uploaded that I lost in playoffs. Um, we took a kind of big hiatus as a league, and we're back with some new megas from Pokemon ZA, as well as some updated movesets from Champions, so we're all excited to rock and roll. We're back to singles format again this year, as opposed to the VGC format that we were playing, so I'm a little more comfortable with it. But there's some new mons being introduced. You will get to see that actually right now as we cut to our matchup for the week. Where are playing Superspiderpig, a longtime homie of mine. We went to like middle school and high school together, so we're boys. And he had picked 1-1. I had picked 1-4. So I guess I'll run down my team real quick. Um, I ended up just picking Tapu Koko with 1-4. It's been around for a while, and I've never gotten the chance to use it in draft. And I think, given all of the like current meta um, power creep, I suppose, for lack of a better term, it seems still pretty valuable. I thought terrain seemed super cool with all the Paradox Pokemon, since before it was like, cool, you want Quark Drive to activate, you have to draft Pincurchin, which is bad. So I leaned heavily into that, as you can see, with the rest of my roster. We've got Iron Moth, uh, Iron Jugulus, and Iron Crown that sort of round out that uh, Paradox Quark Drive combo. I have Ogerpon, Cornerstone Mask, I believe. I didn't play the DLCs. Um, this was my fast. I need a physical offensive mon, which I also have Chestnut. Team came out a little weird. I drafted Claydol too early. Should have drafted Iron Bundle sooner. That was kind of my original pick, and so I was making some adjustments on the fly. I really want to make a Chestnut. I love a good fighting type, and it's got some crazy bulk. I think it's got some good utility, good value, um, which is also what I think Ogerpon brings. I liked that it had speed and some versatility between pivoting, setting spikes, being able to run more defensively or offensively. Sturdy's a good ability. We got Araquanid, we got our web setter. Um, I've used it once or twice before. I'm pretty comfortable with it. Water Bubble's one of the best abilities in the game. Piloswine is kind of another value ground type. I have two ground types. I picked Claydol early because I thought I needed a value rapid spinner after Iron Treads did not make it back to pick my second pick, essentially. And then we have Drifblim, which is another good flying type team. I think I tried as best as possible to patch up ground weakness that, is leading with Coco Moth Crown gives you. Um, and Drifblim gets unburdened, so with Electric Seed potential to boost its defense, as well as just get it up and moving in the terrain. That is the plan there. I will not do my team recap every week, but since this is week one, I figured I would give a very basic overview. I don't want to run too deep into it because I don't want to give up some of my heat ideas for the season. Now, Super Spider Pig, my opponent, he had picked 1-1, and we allowed Mega Starmie, which I think was a questionable decision. I was not part of the retiering process. I've been real busy. I did most of this prep in like 30, 45 minutes, and that's sort of going to be my goal for the season, so we'll see how we do. But I'm excited to get back into draft, but I don't want it to eat up all my time. Um, yeah, Mega Starmie 120 speed with 100 base power, huge power, is disgusting. It gets liquidation. I think just click buttons. Psycho Cut's its best move to hit stuff with from a psychic stab perspective. But again, it's essentially Mega Mawile with a slightly worse typing and 70 more base speed. And also, instead of Swords Dance, it gets Bulk Up. It also gets Rapid Spin for hazard removal, and it gets Pivoting. So no priority. I think it's just better than Mega Mawile. If you play draft at all, you have some reference for how good that is. Um, So a lot of my prep as we get into that is centered around that. And of course, he has other threats too. He's got Kirim, terrifying threat. I love Kirim. I led the league in KOs with Kirim one season. I'm primarily running spec sets with Draco Meteor and Freeze Dry and Ice Beam and Earth Power. But you can run it. Assault Vest, we're playing in Nat deck, so it gets Roost, so you can run, Freeze Dry sub, Roost stall type sets. Loaded Dice gave it a whole nother dimension by giving it Dragon Dance, Icicle Spear. I think it gets Scale Shot. Just kind of gross Pokemon to have to factor in when you're already dealing with Mega Starmie. He's got Scizor. Scizor is one of the better defoggers, I think, in the format. Good pivoting, a little bit like Corviknight, honestly, but with a lot more offensive potential and Bullet Punch for priority. He's got Overpawn, Fire Mask. I'm blanking on what its name is. What the mask name is. That thing clicks button, goes bonk with fire type move. It's pretty scary. Nidoking, Sheer Force, Life Orb, sub, and all the good Gen 1 coverage that all of those Gen 1 mons get. Always a threat, with Earth Power, Sludge Wave, Bolt Beam coverage. Mandibuzz is just bulky, another really good defogger that frees Scizor up a little bit more. Loves heavy duty boots, loves toxic, loves foul play, loves U-turn. Diancie, I think, is a good value pick. It gives him a fairy type, gives him a rock type, which I think is underrated. Draft league type, having resistance to normal and flying is very valuable. It gets rocks and spikes, which is good. It's really bulky on the defensive side. It gets body press for that. And Diamond Storm is its signature move, and it's just really good. So I could maybe see it coming. This is base Tauros Paldea, Intim fighting type, 100 base speed. I think it might even be 95. I should probably know that, considering we're jumping into our match soon here. But I don't necessarily anticipate it coming, but I think it's a cool addition to his squad. He's got Ampharos and Thwackey. As you look at his team's pretty top heavy. Ampharos and Thwackey were both 1-point mons. We had a 100-point budget, so he spent, 98 points on 8 Pokemon of the 10 that we were required to draft. And really, he spent, I think, Diancie is like 7, and Tauros is like 5. So really, he spent like 86 points on his top 6. So I did definitely the most of my heavy lifting in draft prep, looking at those. And now that we've kind of talked about his threats, let's look at what we're doing with my team here. So we led with Koko. I thought Koko was good into his team. Nidoking is his ground type. But I kind of just thought Thunderbolt was pretty nice into his team, but I also am terrified of his offensive output potential. So I decided to run dual screens Koko this week. There's a few ways this could really bite me in the butt. Obviously, Nidoking coming in and clicking substitute on me U-turning is a bit of a problem for me. We'll be prepared for that as need be. But I really think having the optionality of setting up a reflector, a light screen, pivoting out, potentially if this thing's still around late game, clicking Thunderbolt, I think is pretty good. Thunderbolt, it also sets up my Electric Surge for the rest of my team. Thunderbolt will also OHKO Mega Starmie, so that was why I elected to go with Thunderbolt over like a Nature's Madness. Is that there? Yeah, Nature's Madness, the Tapu signature move. And as you'll see, my nickname theme this season is I've been playing through Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, so it is all based upon that. If you played that old GBA Fire Emblem game, it's a pretty fun one. Yeah, so that's Tapu Koko. Enough speed to outspeed Max Jolly Mega Starmie, and Max Special Attack to make sure that I'm OHKOing Megastarmie if it has a little bit of bulk from creeping something else, likely, like an Iron Moth or an Ogerpon at 110, I think is my next speed tier. And then the rest in bulk. Iron Moth, we go down to, this Iron Moth spread is the spread that allows me to get a speed boost off of Quark Drive. So this is actually like the default Schmogon set. I thought there was a lot of value for me in having fast Iron Moth this week, being able to potentially come in and outspeed Starmie off of a terrain boost. So, or also like a Kira off of a Dragon Dance, were the big threats, and making sure that I could potentially also outspeed Ogerpon and not have it be a speed tie. But also with Ogerpon, Fire Poison actually very good typing to counter Ogerpon's dual stab on his side. So having that extra bulk all in defense, that's kind of what that's for. I'm just running 4 attack. Fire Dance is for like Scizor. Sludge Wave is for what was his cutback? Oh, for Ogerpon, duh. Discharge for Starmie, which in terrain will hit still pretty hard. I don't think it OHKOs. And then Meteor Beam is kind of my sleeper tech. Oh, Discharge also really good for Mandibuzz. And Meteor Beam for Mandibuzz or Kyurem potentially get me to a +1 early. And potentially let this thing take a few KOs while my terrain is still up. Then we get down to Araquanid, which I'm running max defense. This is yet another check to Megastarmie. I might have over-prepped for Megastarmie, but I will not lose to that thing. I might lose to the rest of his team. We'll see. I'm running Water Absorb this week, not even running Water Bubble. I'm going to force him to have to click Psycho Cut on Araquanid, and I'm guessing that he brought it. We've got Leech Life to hit Starmie, Scald to hit Nidoking. This is kind of my Nidoking answer, which is a little scary because I'm not running any special defense, but he's got a good base special defense here. Leftovers, Sticky Web, and then Mirror Coat to try to reflect, maybe a Thunderbolt back, or, a Freeze Dry from Kyurem that I should live. Then we've got Ogerpon Cornerstone. His team does not switch into this thing well. Hornleech for recovery, Ivy Cudgel, just stab rock move. Hits really hard Trailblaze to try to get a speed boost again. Try to boost packs Starmie. Swords Dance if I think I can get it up early. Then we have Driftblim with Jaboka Berry. Jaboka Berry does damage back to the opponent if they hit you with a contact physical move, which will then proc Unburden. This is another potential Starmie answer. Jaboka Berry does 1/8, so I can get a Jaboka Berry off on Starmie unless he is +1 from a bulk up. Ice Spinner I think takes me out most of the time, and if I lose to that, then so be it. But I can get Strength Sap off. I can get a Calm Mind boost potentially. Shadow Ball. This thing's also pretty good for Scizor. And finally, we have Iron Crown. I'm running a Soul Vest, just kind of another potential check to Kyurem, Nidoking. Tachyon, Cutter, Psychic Noise, Volt Switch, and Metal Burst. Metal Burst, again, kind of similar to Mirror Coat, to where I still take a lot from Nidoking, but I can potentially fire Metal Burst off and take him back out in return. And that is the squad. I'm going to make sure that I have my team imported here into my calcs. And we are going to get ready to rock and roll. It looks like I know he sent the challenge over already. I believe. Oh, uh-oh. Message him back real quick. Say, oops, will you send that again? I accidentally deleted the challenge. And we breathe. Breathe in, breathe out. And if we lose, it's just draft league. I would love to beat my boy, but I'd say since I think he joined the league like season 7, something like that. And he's been one of the stronger coaches in the league ever since then. So I'm excited to play him. I usually try to schedule kind of him as my rival, if you will. Um, there we go. There's team season 20 versus SSP challenge. I think that should work. There we go. All right, let's see. So he brought kind of an interesting team here. Um, he did not bring Mandibuzz. He brought everything else that I anticipated. Ampharos comes, which is kind of interesting. Probably looking to take advantage of my own terrain against me, potentially as a pivot and Araquanid check. Um, Stormy King, Imp, Ogre. This is just have some few notes here. Let's make sure that we are okay. He sent the link to our fight. Now, his only hazard setter is Nidoking. I did initially consider the idea of just leading Ogerpon and clicking buttons, which I still don't necessarily hate. And so I think I'm going to do that. Yeah, he does not have great switch-ins to this thing. Is that what I want to do? SSP loves pivoting. If you can see U-turn, Volt Switch, no pivot, flip turn. And these two go burr on the special side. So, is Ogerpon breaking early the right strat? I think so. I think that is what I want to do. Because I also think Cornerstone is one of the best lead mons in draft. Because it can run so many sets, your opponent does not often know what you're running. I could just be trying to throw up layers of spikes. I could just be pivoting. It can always run setup. So it forces him to think a little bit. I like that. And we're going to pull up my calc here. Ogerpon. If you lead Scizor, it's not ideal. Is kind of the only tough one. Okay, there's Ampharos. I mean, he could like Focus Blast me is about as hard as he hits me here. If he's like a max defense, he could be trying to run, like a Tail Glow set. I kind of think I just click Ivy Cudgel here. Okay, that does 65. And he Volt Switches out. That is about as anticipated. He did 20 with a Volt Switch. Like I said, my boy likes to pivot. Ampharos, that looks to be pretty. It might be special bulk Ampharos. It could be AV Ampharos. Honestly, would not shock me. AV bulk question mark. Yes. Starmie comes in here. This thing is gross. Flip turn, liquidation. Spinner. Yeah, I mean, Ice Spinner or Flip Turn does not take me out. I think I just go straight into Araquanid here. Here comes the Mega. He tries to flip out. I am Water Absorb. So, we dig that. I think I'm just going to Leech Life. This thing is such a threat. I'm not as worried about his team's speed necessarily. I think having my electric terrain with speed options in the back feels pretty good. Um, so I'm not quite as worried about getting a webs up here. I think Leech Life is fine. Yeah. Now on Scizor, he could definitely click. You know, he could be banded U-turn here. That is definitely not banded. Just good to know. Ampharos comes out. I click Scald. I get the burn. So that's kind of neat. And I would guess that a Volt Switch comes out here. Um, I don't want to go into Coco and give him free terrain boosted power. So I think I just go into Crown here. Ampharos outspeeds Araquanid, right? Yeah. That or if he's no offense, Ampharos. He clicks Volt Switch. I live a Volt Switch here. I'm gonna Mirror Coat. I think he's gonna Volt Switch here. Try to get switch priority. He's gonna do like 50%. And I'm gonna fire off a Mirror Coat into whatever he wants to go into, and it's gonna do big damage. And Araquanid should still live, which will give me an opportunity to pivot out. Still, yep, make him think about that Mega Starmie in the back. Being able to click water moves for free. Feel pretty good about that one. Something might just die here, honestly. Cure him. Nice 80%. And he is Lefty's Pressure Cure him, which is gross. I think this is hard into Crown. Yeah, there's a Roost. And I think I can keep the pressure on here with Tachyon Cutter. Yeah. Okay. Now Ivy Cudgel is pretty strong here. How much does Ivy Cudgel do to my Coco? Hearth Flame. That's the one. Ivy Cudgel does 73. Definitely not ideal. Hmm. So that does a lot to Crown. I should have Volt Switched there. What if I go? My other option here is I go Drift Blim. No, because Jaboka Berry only procs on contact. Never mind. Ivy Cudgel, I learned this the hard way one time, is not a contact move. So, Yeah, I think I just go Moth here. Okay. He did click the Trailblaze button. That's definitely a little spooky. I was worried about that. Um, I'm trying to remember here. Let me check a team builder real quick. I think Ogerpon does get Stomping Tantrum. Yeah, so I'm gonna guess that he packed that. Um, so I do think that we're gonna have to go hard into Driftblim here. Okay, there's the Tantrum. Um, and I think we Strength Sap here. Yeah, this thing is silly, and I really don't like it. Um, and we miss an Air Slash. Okay, that might be GG. We go Coco. Um, our only real play is we click Reflect. He might Trailblaze again. Um, this could just be a GG. Again, Ogerpon. I I think all the Ogerpons are kind of busted, and this is a prime example, and that's part of the reason why I drafted one. Is they can just come in and Trailblaze and Swords Dance. Wow, he switched out. I think I lucked out there a little bit. Um, Fortunately, I lost my Driftblim. That keeps me in the game. Um, I think we just U-turn. And fortunately, I think the U-turn is into Araquanid. Um, I think I check for T-Bolt here potentially. Um, I think keeping Araquanid alive is pretty valuable. Oh, he is Sludge Wave. He does not have T-Bolt. Okay, that's pretty good to know. Um, I'm gonna Psychic Noise. 'Cause now that I do have Terrain in, I'm sort of in a, I think, stronger position here. And he dies to Burn, which is kind of unfortunate, actually. Ogerpon comes in here. Um, I have the speed priority currently. Um, do I just Psychic Noise here, trying to predict a Stomping Tantrum? The problem is if he Trailblazes here again, it's pretty tough. I think I do. I think I Psychic Noise. Okay, then he does Stomp. Nice. Um, I still have Reflect up, so I think I just Noise again. Or he's gonna be faster than me now. Yeah, I think Psychic Noise is still the right play. This thing is just a problem. He does not get the high crit, thankfully, and that thing goes down. Okay, threat mitigated. Um, Kyurem is a huge issue for me now because I think he might also be that sub Kyurem set. Mega Starmie comes in. I mean, do I think that he? Do I think he flips again? That's the question. Um, I think I still go Araquanid. Yeah. Because I think I Scald here. U-turn comes out, back into Kyurem. No burn that time. Um, I think I'm going hard crown. Okay, he is sub. And I also ran like max speed crown specifically for this set because Tachyon Cutter is a two-hit move. So I don't think it'll KO, but it should pick up the sub. Yeah. Okay, and we rip that. Um, we go into Ogerpon. He does not have an Ivy Cudgel switch in at this point. Uh, that was a better switch in than I would think, honestly. And I actually think this is a solid chance to go Coco. He's probably going to U-turn again because I know this boy. He just U-turns. He's Black Sludge Nidoking. Um, does make me wonder. I think I'm gonna light screen. He gets rocks up. All right, that's fair play. Fair play. And I think we U-turn and probably sack Araquanid here. I would think. Who will not die to rocks, but will die to Earth Power. Because now I think we may be able to go Ogerpon and click our own Swords Dance. He's gonna Bullet Punch. Does Bullet Punch kill if he's not banded? He seems really bulky, Scizor. Oh, gross. That does do a lot of damage. Hmm. What do we rip here? I only have one turn of terrain left, which is unfortunate. So what is my win con here? My win con might be that he KOs me here. I reset terrain with Coco and I U-turn. Bullet Punch takes me out. Light screen's still up. Does Coco... T-Bolt could take him out here. So maybe that's the move. Because unfortunately, Nidoking is very strong into I don't have enough chip on Nido King really to feel great about my situation here. I'm gonna get Reflect up. I kind of just have to bank on it might have to be a crit here with Moth. I think I gave Moth. What am I doing here with my team building? No, okay, it's showing that I was wrong. Like I'm Power Herb, but I don't think it's gonna matter. Fire Dance comes off. I don't get the boost, and he's gonna KO with Earth Power. GG's. That is that. Tough week one loss. I don't think I played perfectly, but his team is scary. Uh, Letting Ogre Pawn in for free there on Crown early put me on a bad back foot, but I haven't really played draft in a minute, so it goes. I'm not too stressed about it. We will bounce back next week, and thank you all for tuning in. GG's to Super Spider Pig, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.